Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Jack Smith, I guess you call him the special counsel, supposedly, that is investigating Donald Trump and prosecuting Donald Trump. He got some really big problems. Really big. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. With the 2024 election coming, guys, and people suppressing conservative voices, you guys are the ones that make it happen for us. So please keep doing those things. It really helps us out. Now, an op-ed was written yesterday that said Jack Smith, and this is from attorneys who have argued before the Supreme Court, said Jack Smith is a private citizen. He's not a member of the United States government, and he doesn't even have the authority to be a special counsel. They're calling for the case to be totally thrown out and Jack Smith to be removed. Now, they haven't filed any legal briefs, but other people have filed legal briefs, and these people are attorneys general from various states, and they believe Jack Smith has usurped the law by going straight to the Supreme Court to challenge Trump's immunity claims rather than going through the Court of Appeals, and he's done this for one reason and one reason only: political expediency. He wants Trump tried and convicted before the presidential election of 2024. And that smacks to me of political bias. It smacks to me of political reasoning, and it smacks that way to these attorneys generals as well. So I want you to watch this very important clip. Before I do, I want to remind you to please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody. And now let's watch this very important clip.
Speedy trial in the Constitution, that's kind of up to the defendant. Very rarely, if ever, do you see the government talk about a speedy trial. But look, they want to get this thing done before the election. And something really strange has happened. Jack Smith has asked that an issue be seen by the Supreme Court. Right now, it's at the appellate level. Donald Trump has the right to appeal, and the appeals situation, has a process. First, you go to the appeals court, and then I guess in Trump's case, it would be the Supreme Court. But he wants to kind of bypass all that stuff because they want to get this done before the election. 18 attorneys general from across the United States have filed a brief for SCOTUS. They want Jack Smith's request to be halted. They should not be taking up this issue, I think, in lieu or before the appeals court does. We're joined by two of the attorneys general now who are involved in this effort. We have with us Patrick Morrissey, the Attorney General of West Virginia. He's been in office since 2013. I believe the appeal itself, though, the lead was filed by Steve Marshall, Attorney General for Alabama. Welcome to you both, gentlemen. Look, I'm not a lawyer. You heard me say a lot of things that I hope were generally correct. But Steve Marshall, why don't you frame this up for us? And really, this is kind of crazy that they want this. They want to skip the appeals court, right?
Yeah, and Greg, I think she framed the question absolutely perfectly. The right to a speedy trial belongs to Donald Trump. It took the Department of Justice over 30 months after the allegations contained in the indictment to bring these charges against Donald Trump, but now they want to somehow or another make sure that he's tried the day before Super Tuesday. The efforts of the special counsel to go directly to the Supreme Court are unprecedented, and he's given no compelling reason for it to happen other than to parlay the political will of Joe Biden, and that's no place in court.
Patrick Morrissey, please share with us anything you'd like to share. And I'm also curious, how would the appeals court feel right now? That the Jack Smith seems to be going around them, wants immediate relief or immediate attention. Care to comment on that?
Look, I think all of this reeks of political interference at the highest level, and we all know what's going on here. I think Attorney General Marshall is absolutely right. When you wait 30 months and then you have a date and you're so desperate to say March 4th, why? The significance in order to harm it. That raises serious questions about the motives of what's going on. But I think your point is right. The reality is you have to go through the Court of Appeals process. There's nothing extraordinary about that. And the Supreme Court historically has always looked to make sure that it doesn't get ahead of the curve with the Court of Appeals. So if I'm the Court of Appeals, I'm very upset right now because you could see this is a march toward a political outcome. And I think the Supreme Court should reject it.
Wow. Well, gosh, I thank you, gentlemen, for doing what you're doing. A lot of lawyers are not stepping up these days, and this injustice seems very obvious. This is Merrick Garland, by the way, when he appointed Jack Smith last year, I believe. Go ahead.
Throughout his career, Jack Smith has built a reputation as an impartial and determined prosecutor who leads teams with energy and focus to follow the facts wherever they lead. As special counsel, he will exercise independent prosecutorial judgment to decide whether charges should be brought.
Now, I could make the case that none of that was apparent or true because of the conflict of interest. His wife, being an associate of Barack Obama's and Michelle Obama's and the money they gave. But his conduct so far, apart from this, Steve Marshall, what other things has Jack Smith done, if anything, that alarms you?
Well, let's look back. Joe Biden said in November of last year that Donald Trump wouldn't be the president. And then you have the appointment of Jack Smith, and then we see this indictment coming forward. Both commentators on the left and right have acknowledged that this most recent pleading is not only unprecedented, but there's no factual and legal basis for it to go forward. It shows the desperation of this administration in trying to try Donald Trump far before the case is ripe or before the appellate courts have had an opportunity to weigh in. It's clearly something that we have never seen before, and it just shows, again, the efforts of this special counsel to do the bidding of this failed presidency.
It seems to me, and I, again, commend you gentlemen for what you're doing. You do have the protection of your constituents. You were voted into office, and that's great. I feel like there should be greater outrage